The incident that happened last week with Mac Miller's death really shocked everybody because it was something that nobody was. I mean, you don't really expect death, but it was just something that was like really just crazy, and like it just felt not real because like he was a really like a big influencer in the music industry, and at some point everybody was listening to him, so it was really just kind of like it affected everybody as a whole. And he sadly did pass away because of overdose of a drug overdose. And it's just really sad because like he was really young, and then he was just doing a lot of good things, like his new album, like that was barely coming out, and he was getting in like good reviews, I guess. And just he had a lot of good things coming for him. It's just sad because nowadays we kind of see that as common, like a lot of people like overdosing by drugs, and then like you just keep hearing people saying like, oh well, don't do drugs and all this stuff. But the thing is that we should really open up about like mental health, because that's the thing that really affects people using, like abusing a certain drug. Like it's not necessarily, it doesn't have to do with like what you're abusing. It's just well, I think personally it has to do a lot with mental health, and maybe if we can be more open about it, like as a society, and just like tell people like, it's okay to open up if you're feeling a certain way. There's just been like a lot of focus on Ariana Grande because she was before she was with her spouse, which is now Pete Davidson, she was with Mac Miller, and there was just a lot of attention on her because there's a lot of people kind of blaming her for this situation, because they say like, oh well, I mean, the breakup really affected him and like just caused him to be in even more depressive, like, episodes. But I think, in my personal opinion, again, that it's kind of that it is wrong that people are like shaming her and like telling her all these really like nasty comments. Don't think that it necessarily is her. Well, I honestly just don't think it is her fault. I think it's wrong that people are like accusing her of Mac Miller's death, because like it honestly, it really isn't her fault, because he was already kind of dealing with his own, like his own stuff already. And I mean, I'm pretty sure that she's hurting as well too, so it's not just like she kind of just like, let it go. Like I am sure that she is hurting because again, like she was with him, and you're just not going to lose feelings for somebody like that quick. Like there's always something there. Like it doesn't specifically have to be romantically, but you can always have like a platonic, like relationship with someone. And I don't think it's fair for people like accusing her, because she is going through her own things right now. And yeah, it's just wrong to do that too, because it's like I don't think that people should really focus on that. Like the focus should be Mac Miller and not like anybody else, like it shouldn't be like, oh well, I mean, like, oh, like pointing fingers like, okay, well, who did it. It's kind of like we have to focus on the bigger picture here, which is why, like, why this happened. In Ariana Grande's her newest post, she posted like a video of Mac Miller, and her caption was basically her like blaming herself and saying like that she was so sorry that she couldn't take all his pain away, and that she and him had a discussion about this before, about how he meant so much to her, and that he shouldn't do anything to like hurt himself or anything in a negative way, because he was loved. But it's just sad that a lot of people are like taking like they're taking all of this and just making it about Ariana Grande, and just like are blaming her. But it's not right to do that, because it ties into women not being able to leave toxic or abusive relationships so easily, and it is already hard to do so, like being a woman too. And whatever happens with the relationship, like whether they do end up successfully getting out or staying, it always backfires on the girl. And it is sad because we as a society always tend to put the blame on women, and like whether they choose to stay in the relationship because they're scared, or whether they leave because they finally they finally want to do something good for themselves. Like in this case, Ariana Grande, she had left her relationship because she wanted something better for herself. And it's very sad how people are just kind of turning the tables and like, oh, well, he died because of her, because she left him. This is why he's dead now. But we should just be able to focus on the bigger picture and not constantly blame women for wanting to do things things to better their lives. And we shouldn't judge others for the things that they do.
The social media platforms that I have is our YouTube, Snapchat, and Instagram. On YouTube, there are like some beauty gurus, and sometimes they make me want to use makeup, and the reasons why is like they make them look like so perfect and so clean, and like they make their skin, I don't know, like look better. The way like they look and like the way they do their makeup, like so professional and so like clean and so perfect, and like they know the steps. And then sometimes like some of them, they don't have like, like acne or pimples, and like that's cool, and they use a lot of like products on their face. And it makes me feel like insecure because like it makes like if you do this, it'll cover up all your like imperfections, and it'll make you feel better about yourself. So then you don't feel bad. But I feel like it doesn't matter if you do, because at the end of the day you still have that. At the end of the day you're still ugly. My mom has like, she's talked to me about it, and she's told me, oh no, like you're too young. And then she goes, because when you grow up you're gonna want to be like a kid again. And then now that that she said that to me, and I've thought about it, and I'm like, you know what, that is true, because you're only a kid for like 12 years, and then the rest, doesn't matter how old you are, you're going to be an adult the rest of your life. And that's why I feel like, that's one of the reasons why I don't, because my mom has talked to me about it. On Instagram, like what people do to get likes sometimes is like they use makeup. And also something else that affects kind of me negatively is when people like they have a like what you would call like the perfect body, and if you don't have that, like sometimes you're not considered pretty, and some people might judge you for that. But there are also people that say, if you're not skinny, it doesn't matter, you're still pretty, and like things like that. And that like you have to do something specific, or else like you'll get judged if you don't do it, and then you'll be called like weird, or like like you'll be different. And like the clothes that they wear, like right now that's trending, and then they're basically like, if you don't wear like stuff like that, you'll be like, oh, like what is this, you look so weird in it, why are you wearing it? I am in the 6th grade, I am 11 years old, and I see like people already wearing makeup, and I feel like the reason why they do that is because like social media and YouTube, and they're like, oh my god, I want to get that attention that they get, I want to look as beautiful as they look, so they wear it. And I just feel like that's a little too young. Maybe when they're like 15, or like that's my opinion. But that's what I've noticed that a lot of people like do, because I see like a lot of people that do that, like already wearing makeup at like a really young age, and it like I just think that, oh, it's probably social media that's pushing them to do that, because there are so many, like right now there are a lot of people like my age doing stuff like that. My mom has like, she's talked to me about it, and she's told me, oh no, like you're too young. And then she goes, because when you grow up you're gonna want to be like a kid again. And then now that that she said that to me, and I've thought about it, and I'm like, you know what, that is true, because you're only a kid for like 12 years, and then the rest, doesn't matter how old you are, you're going to be an adult the rest of your life. And that's why I feel like, that's one of the reasons why I don't, because my mom has talked to me about it. It was like sometimes like Like they'll make me like try to wear makeup, and I've done it like a few times, like here and there, and that makes me feel, I don't know, like like that covers up like my imperfections, and I don't know, like it makes me feel like better about myself, sort of. But at the same time, I don't want to, because I'm still young, and then also like the trends, like clothing and stuff like that. Like sometimes it makes me like want to wear those clothes, want to go to the mall and buy those clothes, and then like use them and go out. But I'm still a baby. So this generation, I feel like, is growing up so fast because we're all growing up like with social media and stuff. And if you don't get as much likes as you want, or as much views as you want, it'll make you feel like bad, and it'll make you want to do things that people that are like are trending and that are doing right now. Because if you don't do that, you'll feel bad about yourself. So then you just like force yourself to do those things, so then you can get as much views and likes as you want. And there's like influencers on YouTube that like do that. They go, oh, because I got as many views on this video that I did, and likes, that means like I should do that, so I can get like that many views and like that many likes.